can be a lot more effective and satiating, as opposed to going to an extreme of a water fast with no preparation and not really knowing what we're doing, and then with double whammy, guilting our being. Greetings, this is Body-Culinary, and today I wanted to address fasting, and many people that slip on a fast or fall off of the fast and that beat themselves up for fasting. In 1994, I think it was in the early 90s, I worked at a well-known holistic healing center in Brooklyn, New York, where I had a really phenomenal mentor who I had the great fortune of apprenticing under and working with. And we commonly did, she commonly instructed 1-day shut-ins, 3-day fast, 7-day fast, 21-day fast. There were some people that would do 40-something day fast and on occasion a 100-day fast. And I got the opportunity to see all different types of healers come through those doors. A lot of elders with a lot of experience with herbs and natural healing modalities. And many people that did fast, many people that came with all different types of issues. One of the biggest things was tumors and cysts. So first of all, I just have to give it a shout out to Nina Poole. So one of the things I wanted to comment on in just in my observations was that many people over the years, I didn't see many people maintain, and also I am coming from a background in fitness and working as a trainer for well over a decade, almost a decade and a half, if I combine fitness and other things. So there's a lot of experience in people wanting to lose weight, to clear up their skin, work with health issues, and so on. But the thing with the fasting is many people beat up on themselves when they're not able to fast. I can count how many times that I fasted successfully. And after several decades of experience, 2 different stints as a vegan, and now going on almost a decade as a living foodist, eating totally unprocessed fruits, vegetables, seeds, and nuts, I have to say that many people perhaps jump into changing their diet in the extreme. Now that being said, many people may not agree. I'm all for when you have a bit of clarity rather than trying to diet. I don't see anything wrong with jumping into 100% living foods, which basically means not eating any processed foods. I think the transition that you go through, from what I've observed, is with the transition that your body goes through. But I don't find it extreme in terms of thinking, well, I just don't want to put anything dead in my body. So I'm going to put 10% dead in my body, 40% dead in my body, 15%, even 1%, particularly when it comes to animals, animal products, animal flesh, dead things that I know are toxic. So in terms of that switch, and being very, very clear, the perspective that I'm coming from is it doesn't make sense for me to put dead foods in my body. So it's a different mentality than dieting or trying not to do something. Quite often we underestimate conditioning, our conditioning, not having perhaps enough know-how or substitutions with living real food, or having enough skill to prepare food and so on, and we're going into work and stressful situations. We may still have stressful situations in our households, and we try to go to an extreme of water fasting. And water fasting and veganism and raw foods are very, very trendy. But I found if I stick more with the principles than the people, then I can be guided safely and also be gentle with my own being and where I'm at and be more effective. So that being said, and something that Queen of Food was very, very clear about is that she recommended juice fasting as opposed to water fasting with nutrition like spirulina and green powders and things like that, because most people have so much toxins inside of their system. When they try to do a water fast, they'll go into all kinds of cleansing crisis. Basically all those things flooding into the system, and also people reading books and looking online and may not understand the nuances and just doing too much at one time and really not having a frame of reference. So that being said, For many people may not even need to do a fast. You know, people call all different types of things fasting, but I think the mental stress that we put our own beings under could be swapped out for being more educated, taking our time, doing more preparation in terms of having different foods and things that are satiating, whether it be smoothies or fresh fruits and things like that, can be a lot more effective in satiating as opposed to going to an extreme of a water fast with no preparation and not really knowing what we're doing. And then with double whammy, guilting our being, which it makes you feel worse. And when you feel very guilty, and if you're used to dealing with stress with eating lots of health junk or junk food or non-food or processed food, usually it's a cycle. So it's not so much as logical when we're dealing with emotions and when it's used to numbing out with food. If we feel bad about ourselves or feel guilting ourselves, usually that'll drive people right deeper into the same cycle of appeasing those emotions with food. So that being said, rather than trying to fast, to trying so hard to fast, another perspective, another effective way to look at it might be when you're so satiated and full that you're just not hungry. If you were super, super duper full and satiated and I offered you a delicious raw living pie and you're just like, I would love to eat that pie, it's so beautiful, but I physically can't eat anymore. So that can be more effective than trying not to do something. When we're extremely well rested and slept, when we have other things going on in our life, for example, dance. When I'm dancing, taking African dance, the last thing I would want to do is eat food. I don't want nothing getting in my way or encumbering me or keeping me from being fully expressed in dance. So I just want to invite folks to not be hard on themselves and to just be more practical with transitioning to your food. Now, again, I will make the distinction. I think it's a wonderful thing to transition immediately 100% into fresh, unprocessed foods, fruits, vegetables, seeds, and nuts, not roasted, not toasted, not boiled, not fried, just in its natural living state. Because you'll feel full and satiated from all the fresh ingredients, the vitamins, the minerals, the water content, and the fiber. And I think it's very important to feel that feeling of satiation. The body is very intelligent. It knows how to fall to its natural weight. So again, as somebody that's worked in fitness for many years, I always knew eventually I don't want to diet, which I don't have to do right now. And I don't want to be really manic about exercising. Because when I first started doing movement, it was dance. It was just for the pure joy of it. So it's not as a punishment or beating the body into submission. So we can be very relaxed about it, observe, our reactions to stress, and just be real easy with it. So hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions or any comments, or if you'd like to maybe share your experiences with fasting where you've been unsuccessful and why you thought that was. Have you been the type of person to beat up on yourself because you weren't successful with the fast? And why do you think it was? Perhaps it was just too much for you at one time. And it's a way to just transition to eating whole, fresh, living, unprocessed foods in their optimal state, organic, if you can and whenever you can, and just to be real easy and practical and effective at the end of the day. So this is Body-Culinary. Please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up if you got any value in it. Please make sure you share it with another sister or another person that you know might receive some value, who you know is also trying to make transition and making efforts to make transition in their way of eating, because the more we have more people eating in a way that's cruelty-free and very loving to the body and to the environment, the more people you have on your team, the more successful you're going to be. So please hit the bell so you get notifications of when there is a new video, and we'd love to hear from you. This is Body-Culinary.